Child, I am on. We gonna see how this goes. Because I'm usually on IG and hello. So we gonna get into it, bringing something to the table. I was asked the question in last week's conversation about why women aren't bringing something to the table, and I thought about this question because I wanted to add this to the topic for today. Let me hold on. I'm going live I am on Instagram, YouTube, and yeah, we over here in Facebook land. Hello. So bringing something to the table. Where is this coming from? Like, when did all of this start? This term that a woman needs to bring something to the table. I actually want men to chime in on this and say why they feel this way. I've actually talked to men and had this discussion with them. With my male friends, we've had this discussion. So it's really a matter of, I think, how you were raised and what you've experienced. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can do this over here. Hold on. So for those who don't know me, hello, I'm Tiana Nichelle. I have these conversations every Thursday. Community conversations, life conversations, dating. We talk about marriage. We talk about everything. If it's something that you all want to talk about, just send me a DM. You can email me. Just click the button in my bio, and we can talk about it. But we have been talking about dating within the last few lives. We talked about dating, but this bringing something to the table. I have heard this conversation time and time again with different entertainers, different men. Had this conversation. I'm trying to see. Hello. Had this conversation with male friends, female friends, and so this is really interesting. This whole notion of a woman needs to bring something to the table, and so I kind of want to dive in and get you all's opinions. Again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tiana Nichelle. I'm a serial entrepreneur, beauty business. I have an app for Down syndrome. It's a directory of businesses that cater to the Down syndrome community and others with disabilities. I am an empowerment coach. I empower people to go for their dreams, be their best selves. I'm that person. And most of all, I do these conversations every Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm actually live on YouTube for those who are in the YouTube land. Hello. And I'm on IG and Facebook. I actually want my Facebook people to come over to YouTube so we can have this conversation. So tell me in the comments, what do you all feel about this topic? The men that are on here, hello. What do you think about a woman bringing something to the table? And do you feel that this is a necessary thing from your standpoint? Now, what I have come across in conversation with talking to my male friends, And there are some that feel like a woman needs to come with something. You know, she don't need to just come with her looks. You know, it's more to that she needs to be bringing besides her looks and her body. She needs to bring some money. And so I'm like, okay, well, where did this come from? And so they're like, well, you know, well, these particular guys, I'm gonna talk about these guys, and then I'm gonna talk about the ones who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. These guys are like, well, the cost of living is too high. You know, we got bills and stuff. Like, you want me to do for you, but I need you to do something for me, type of situation. And I think it's really interesting that men are saying this. And some of those men are looking or saying that they're looking to be husbands. So I'm like, okay, well, if you are trying to be a husband, then what is your expectation of your wife? Hello. And they're like, oh, well, she still gotta, you know, cook and clean and, you know, do what she needs to do with the kids and all of these different things. And I'm like, well, if she's doing duties as a wife, so because some of these men were married before, and if she's doing duties as a wife, she is helping, not even helping, because a lot of the times women are doing a lot of different things with the kids, homework, picking them up, you know, whatever the needs are of the kids. And she's working, you know, cleaning the house, cooking, whatever. And that's actually a lie. That's a lie. And so then you want her to come in and bring money on top of that, and then be fun at night. Like, that's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But I mean, I understand the viewpoints, right? Because the cost of living is very high right now. We all see we now back in a recession, you know. So things are more expensive than they have been in a long time. So the thing is, while I understand that thought process, I also understand that a woman needs to, because let me just say this, a woman needs to actually have something of her own. To me, this is just my view, and I'm saying this because anything can happen to that man. Anything can happen in a relationship, in life, in any shape, way, or form. Whatever you can think of, it happen. You should have a rainy day fund. You should have a savings, something, because you just never know. And so if you are working and making a salary, your salary should afford you the opportunity to put something to the side, because you never know what would happen, right? Because everything is uncertain, especially life is uncertain, but these times are uncertain. So you want to have something to the side as a woman. Now, I think that what men, because there are actually quite a few men that are on here, but y'all not in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this topic so we could talk about it, because women need to understand the viewpoint of where guys are coming from. And this is something that I talked about before. When you are dating or dating with the intention of getting married, you need to understand your partner or the person that you are trying to connect with. So whoever that is, you have to have an understanding of how they work, how they think, how they feel, and you have to, be able to, because essentially you want to get along with that person, and you want to know why they think what they think, and so you can know how to respond to it. You can know how to coexist with these thoughts. You need to know this. So for women, I feel like if you're trying to date a man, you need to understand how a man thinks, because a lot of the times I have noticed that women get caught up in it's about me, even the and I'm gonna say this and it might tick some women off, but using the I am the prize narrative to manipulate situations is not getting a lot of women to their goal. It's not working. And so even though biblically, if we go biblically based, the woman is considered the prize. He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. So that is essentially saying that the woman is the prize. But using that there as a tool of manipulation and to say, well, you should just focus on me and I don't have to connect with you is problematic. But it is also problematic for men to say the same thing, because you have men that have, options, of course. You got women that have options, but when men have options, they're like, okay, well, whatever. So any woman that they could possibly get on the face of this earth would not faze them at all, because they have options, right? So there a lot of times when men are caught up in they have options and not really looking at who they're trying to connect with, they do the same thing that some women are doing when it comes to, well, it's really about me. And I did a live some months back. I might just link it below, because I'm actually on YouTube, guys. So for those of you that are in Facebook land, come on over to YouTube land. Hello. And so I've had this conversation before where you really have to want to have an understanding of who you are dating, because in order for the relationship to work, there has to be some type of an understanding. There has to be some type of communication, and it can't just be about one person. Relationships they should be reciprocal, but there should be a level of, I want to get to know you because I really care about you type of situation. Not, well, I'm trying to hurry up and get to the ring, so skip all that. And that's another thing that's happening, because there are people that's getting married and turning around and getting divorced because women were just trying to get to the ring. They didn't take the time to get to know that man. The man didn't take the time to get to know that woman. It was like, let's just hurry up and do this. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you don't know that person. You don't know, who this masked person is. And so then you are giving, and they're taking. And you're like, okay, well, you obviously don't care about me, so what are we doing? So that's why I feel it's important to actually get to know, so you can connect better, have better communication, and have a better relationship. And so I'm gonna just speak to the bringing something to the table, and then I'm gonna come back to the feminine part. So when a woman is expected to bring something to the table. Like, there was one guy that I spoke to, and he's like, well, we need to split everything down the middle. And so I'm like, then you're essentially a roommate. If you expect whoever you're with to split everything down the middle, that's a roommate situation. If you were, in a position where you wanted to get married, do you feel the same way? He was like, yeah, like, we need to split everything down the middle. And so I'm like, why do you feel that way? Because it's the equal partnership. But I'm like, what if you make, 100K and she make 30K and you want to split the bills down the middle? Like, that's not equal. It's not, because your pay is not equal. But then I actually recently had a conversation with a man who actually thought that bringing something to the table was nonsense. And this is what he told me. He said, if a man is trying to be a husband, why would he ask a woman that he is trying to marry to bring something to the table when he, as a man, is supposed to be a provider? He said, I was not raised to have women, to bring, financial means to the table, because then what does that say about me as a husband? And so he was like, I wouldn't require that. I'm a man. I'm supposed to provide for my wife, provide for my family, get a house for my family, make sure that my wife is comfortable and that she needs for nothing, because I don't want her going out looking for something that she has here. Just like I don't want, I don't want to go out looking for something outside of my relationship. So we have to work. This is what he said. And so he said that if we are equal partners, then my money is her money and her money is my money. So we're going to put our money in a pot together, and we're going to use it to do different things that we would like to do. He was like, my money will pay the bills, and we'll use the rest of it to travel, to do, whatever it is we want to do. If we want to invest it, we want to invest it. And I was just like, whoa. That's the first time in a long time that I've heard a guy actually say that. And he was like, I don't know why, people are debating this, and especially African Americans. He's like, I don't hear other races saying this stuff. He was like, I don't hear it at all. But the African American community, we're saying this, but then you have women who act like men, and then you're upset at the women for acting like men, but then you're telling them to provide something. So then they have to act like men in order to bring that to the table. And I was just like, okay, makes sense. But I found that to be really interesting. Those of you who are on Facebook, come on over to YouTube. I'm about to end the live on Facebook. So come on over to YouTube land. I'm ending this one on Facebook. See you all over here on YouTube, Crown Combos with Tiana and Nichelle. So, guys, this conversation is a real hot topic, because this is something that has been discussed within the last really 2 years. And I'm like, okay, why are we even discussing this? Like, why does this need to be a thing? But I think that people need to understand what works for them. If you and your partner have a agreement to where you know, you're like, this is what works for us because, you know, maybe she makes a certain amount, maybe he makes a certain amount. So whatever you all do to balance that out, you know, that's what you all do. That's your agreement. But to outright say that, I don't know. That to me, that's not saying that it's not husbandly. It's more like, okay, well, we're just dating, we're just cool, we're just, you know, there's nothing futuristic in that statement to me. And I'm gonna just tell women, you all have to pay attention to what is coming out of these men's mouth, because a lot of the times they say things that are because they're not ready for something serious. Essentially, when a man is telling you that he wants you to bring something to the table, or there are other things, and I talked about this previously, that men say that let you know that they're not really ready for something that is committed. So those are real telltale signs that maybe he's just not ready. Maybe you gotta move around and go to some other options. But also, let me just say this. So men, essentially women, want women to be women, right? So the whole concept of independence to a masculine man, and I'm going to break this down, masculine men versus feminine men, however you all want to take that. But most times masculine men want a woman who is feminine. He wants a woman who is not afraid to be in her feminine energy, to, you know, say, hey, you know, help me do this. Can you help me do this? Like, men want to be asked. Masculine men want to be asked to do things. Like, they want to feel needed. And I talked about this before. So women want to feel wanted, and men want to feel needed. And when a man doesn't feel needed, then he's gonna look like, okay, well, what am I here for? But I will say this. In the past, I have erred in that department because of the fact that I am used to doing things myself, you know, and I learned some lessons a while ago. And I made a lot of changes though, but I'm gonna ask a man, okay, can you help me do X, Y, and Z? This is going on with this. Like, before, I was taking care of my car myself, scheduling my appointments, you know, for the dealer. If something's going wrong, just, you know, call a dealer. Like, if it's, I need fluids or whatever, I just go get them, put it in there. If it's oil, if it's windshield solvent, whatever it was, like, I would go put it in on myself, because I was, you know, during this time, I was just living by myself for the first time, and I had my car that was actually my first car, and I had learned like everything about the car, but these are things that my dad taught me. So this is why daddies are important. My dad taught me that you need to know everything about your vehicle. You need to know how to change a tire, show me how to change a tire, you know, show me all of these different things. So I knew what to do. And so I didn't have to call a man and do anything, because it was like, my daddy already showed me how to do that. So I don't need you, bro. I don't need you. And so when I was dating, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was like, okay, you don't want me to do this, you need this, but you won't ask. Like, what am I here for? And I was like, bro, I don't know. like, I don't need you for that. And so he felt like I was just doing everything on my own, and there was no way that he could fit in. Like, no, there was nothing for him to do. So, like, I eventually, through trial and error, learned, okay, you know, a man wants to be needed. So, some years back, we say like about 7-8 years ago, when I got into a relationship, I was like, okay, you know, and it took for him to say, if you need gas in your car, I'll put the gas in your car. Don't go filling your tank up. I got you. And I was looking at him like, bruh, like, I am getting off work. You are in the house because you got off before me. So I don't want you coming out the house to put gas in my car. And so he was just like, no, just bring the car. I'll put the gas in there. I'll do this, that, and the other. So after a couple times of him fussing at me because I was so used to doing stuff on my own, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna let him do it. He put gas in my car. My gas was always filled up. He checked my fluid levels, you know, put air in the tires. He made sure that my car was like up to par, and I didn't have to do nothing but drive. Like, even the brakes, down to the brakes, getting the brakes done. Like, kudos to that man. But all of those things, it taught me, like, back up. When you are in a relationship, you are no longer independent of yourself. You have to learn how to be interdependent with the person that you're with. And I wasn't necessarily taught that. It was just through trial and error because I've dated, obviously. And so even my exes, they have had conversations with me where they like, basically, you know, you have tried to dominate things, and I'm like, well, you wasn't doing nothing. You might have planned this, might have planned that. Not all of them like that, because I had some that was like, we're gonna do this. Like, they had everything planned from A to Z, and I just had to sit back. Now, when you are a man that plans from A to Z, and there's no room for me to even think about what needs to be done, then I have no choice but to sit back. But at this age, I've learned to take a step back and say, okay, can you do this? But here's the thing. If you have not done it, and that's the thing with me, like, if you if I give you the opportunity to do something and I say I need something done and you have not done it, I'm not gonna sit and wait for you to do it. Like, and I'm gonna give a time frame because I know that men need time frames. But I'm gonna give a time frame. Okay, can you do this by this time? Because I need to do X, Y, and Z. I explain things. That's the other part, ladies. You have to explain things. And so, but if it's not done by a certain time, I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna wait anymore. So, yeah, no, I'm not gonna, because I don't want to start fussing. We not finna do this. I don't want no arguments. So I'm just doing it myself. Yeah. But back to so I mean, I've learned some lessons along the way. I've learned how to, and this is why, one of the reasons why I do have dating conversations, because there were mistakes that I've made, but at the same time, everything is a learning lesson. And even through those mistakes, guys still ask to marry me, you know, all of those different things. and I was not with it then. I was not on that gravy train then, because I just felt like, you know, I had things that I wanted to take care of before I got to that point. So your girl was not trying to be locked down. So I've learned these lessons, but I use this to help other women because I can see what they are doing. I can see, you know, certain things that they're doing that I did, and I was like, I shouldn't have did that. So sis, hold on, before you do X, Y, and Z, let me and I've had women ask, let me just say this, I've given dating advice to a lot of people. A few of them are married. A lot of them are now dating. They are now booed up in relationships and happy. My male friends are all booed up. And it's like, and they like, I listen to you. And so I'm like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Results, yes. So when y'all see this video, kudos. You all are doing a good job. But I wanted to also talk about, though, that the bringing something to the table. So some of those male friends are also they don't feel that whole bringing something to the table because they have helped their women out significantly, and they're like, this is my woman. And so what I have realized is that, like I said before, a lot of men who are really not ready for relationships will make this statement, but when a man is all in, my belief is that he gonna move heaven and earth to be with you. So all of that bringing something to the table will go out the window. Another thing is that man may not be financially sound in order to support a wife, so maybe he needs her to bring something to the table. And if that's the case, then me and y'all need to say something, because I'm gonna tell you what bringing something to the table. Now, I'm gonna say this: I've always been one to, I can go get it myself, I can do it myself, right? So I've never had a man that told me to bring something to the table. As a matter of fact, they want me to step away from a lot of different things and, you know, focus on just the relationship and have babies. And I'm like, yo, I got dreams and goals, so we got to work this on out, because sis got moves she's making, and I don't know, but I haven't been told this. So this concept is kind of new, but at the same time, I feel like it is straining the relationship between man and woman. It is also causing a lot of women, because men don't want a masculine woman. Like, I don't know if women know this, but all of that 50 million degrees, and I've even talked to different men who was like, that stuff don't even matter. Because at the end of the day, how we making this work? Like, what are we doing with each other? All of the rest of that doesn't matter. Like, okay, outside, you be the boss, be the CEO, be the whatever you are, whatever your position is. But in this house, this is a you, us thing. This is a you and I thing. So all the rest of that doesn't matter. And I get it, because he don't want to feel like it's two men in a relationship. Like, and this is a real issue with Black women, especially us that are entrepreneurs and those who have a lot on their plates. A lot of times we're so used to doing everything for everyone, and we're not used to letting someone take on the load. But essentially, by having this statement and saying bring something to the table, making it as a requirement to date, you're essentially saying that this is a prerequisite in order for us to work. So that will make her be like, well, if we equals, I'm the boss just like you the boss. So that's when you have that power struggle, because I would tell you that power struggle be real. Somebody gonna have to give in. Somebody gonna have to, do something. So that whole thing, I think it disrupts the feminine energy that a woman brings, because when does she have time to bask in her femininity if she's concerned about bringing things to the table? Like, and the only thing you can bring to the table is money. Like, that's it. Because her business is not, what does that have to do with you if your name ain't on it? Or if you're not going to work in it? Like, so, that's a little, that's why I wanted men, hello, I wanted men to chime in on this, because women need to have a better understanding of what men think about this. I actually put up a poll earlier that asked the question, should women bring something to the table? And I had a few people said yes. I had a person that said absolutely. So, and a lot of these were women, so they feel like they should bring something to the table. The thing is, that is absolutely fine, but for longevity, does that work? I would like actually some married people to actually chime in on this one. Does it really work in marriage? Because a lot of this type of a conversation happens in dating, but does it really work in a marriage setting when you have life that you're dealing with, children that you're dealing with, jobs and everything else? Does it really work? Now, to me, if I had a husband that said, you don't have to do anything, just, be a wife and be a mom, I would probably be like, no, because that's not a thing. Like, I couldn't see myself as a stay-at-home. Nah, it's not my thing. So I get it that the women that actually, because it was women that responded to the poll, those women, I actually get why you would say yes, because most of us who don't have kids and have been focused on careers or school or whatever it is that we were doing, we're not ones that just want to sit at home, twiddle our thumbs and be cute. But at the same time, for a feminine man, because those are usually the ones that say this, I haven't come across any men that were masculine that had this to say, like, bring something to the table. But for that type of a man, it might be intimidating. Like, for her to have, to be able to carry her own weight might be intimidating. But a masculine man would be like, you know what? Can you take a break? I understand that you got your goals, your dreams, whatever you got going on. Like, I get it, but I would like for us to have us time. I would like, those type of things. So I feel like masculine men understand that type of a woman, rather than men who are on the other end of the spectrum. And then I find that quite a few men that make these statements, how can I put this? They are not even bringing in $30,000-$40,000 a year. They're working jobs that are they're probably hourly making $10, $12, $11, whatever, $13, $14 an hour. So that would go back to the fact that they might need a woman who is making, a salary to help them out. Essentially, let me plug this up, in order to balance that life. But that comes back to being honest about your situation, because then if you're not honest about your situation and where you are financially, mentally, spiritually, it's going to cause a strain in whatever relationship you are in. It's going to cause a strain. Like, you have to be honest about where you are, because if that person doesn't understand where you are or what the expectations are or whatever, then they're gonna be like, okay, well, what's going on here? Because I thought X, Y, and Z. So you have to talk about these things. But I will say that a woman needs to feel protected, in a sense where you got her, where she knows that she doesn't have to worry about anything, and if something happens, then she'll be able to come to you because you got her, right? And so that's essentially what a woman needs to feel. All of this stuff about, because there are women who are very materialistic. I will say that, like, they are really materialistic. They want the Chanel bags, the Gucci, this, that, and other. That's not important in the grand scheme of things. It make you look cute, but at the end of the day, what does that do for your relationship? What does that do for the growth of a family? What does that do? It does nothing. It just looks cute. So for a oh my goodness, what's going on with my computer here? For a man that has a vision and all of those kind of things, that stuff is kind of shallow, and it's unnecessary. I feel like it's unnecessary. So that's not why a man needs to protect and provide or whatever. Providing to me is not the materialistic. It is the peace that, to me, that he brings. That's what that means. Not all of that other stuff. But when it comes down to marriage, and if you're dating for marriage purposes, a man should be the one to help with the bills. Like, he should be the one that's doing that if he has it. But it is a partnership. So you bring something, I bring something. And this is a part that I talked about before. So these high value men that women were saying that they needed, and I'm like, for what though? Because if you making 70, 80K, let's just say 80K, and he's making 40K, then y'all making 6 figures together. What's the problem? A lot can move. But if he's not making that type of money, then you can't expect a whole lot. Like, but it should not be a necessity at that point. Like, if it's a partnership, it's a partnership. But I don't believe in you have to split everything down the middle, because that makes it more of a roommate-ship. So you all have to figure out, like I said, what works for you. What the heck works for your relationship? And if marriage is the goal, and fellas, if y'all not financially ready to get married, then I don't think maybe y'all should be getting married. Maybe y'all should hold off on that. Maybe it sounds good, but maybe you should pump your brakes until you get your money together. I don't know. If you're going to make her, because some women feel uncomfortable, like when they have a man that is not taking care of things. It adds more stress, but it also makes her feel uncomfortable. So if you are not doing your part, then she gotta pull. It's essentially on her. So what are you expecting her to do? I don't know. What are you expecting her to do? So if you want a woman that's going to be, and this is talking to men, if you want a woman that is going to be feminine, she's going to be sweet, she's going to be all of these things, then I believe that men need to come up with some type of a solution other than telling her to bring something to the table, because then how is she supposed to operate in her feminine energy and be cute and sweet and submissive and loving and, you know, all of these different things, be nurturing, when she has to dominate? Because what men don't understand is women have to take on masculine roles at work. So when women are working in corporate, hello, then they have to dominate in corporate, and it essentially makes them more masculine, because you're working with men. As a woman, you're working with men. You are doing all of the different things. You're competing, all of these different things, for manager positions and all of this different stuff. So it makes you have to be more dominant than what you are. The other part is, if she's always taking care of something, then she's essentially being the provider. She's essentially being, you know, doing all of the things that a man would do. So then it is well, why do I need you if I'm going to do all of this? So, man, you got to be careful with what you're saying, and you can't be sending these mixed messages about what it is that you want, because then you are going to essentially get a masculine woman who is going to dominate. She's going to take charge, and she's going to tell you that she don't need you for nothing because she can do it herself, because she's already doing it and you're not helping. So men have to be careful with that, because if you want a woman who is going to operate in her feminine energy, then you have to allow room and space for that, where you have to take care of some of the things that she would normally take care of in order for her to have peace of mind. Because another thing is, if a woman, just like, you know, before my sister passed, it'll be actually 2 years this year, I was helping with her. I was helping to raise a kid, helping take care of my family. I was doing a gazillion and one things, working on my doctorate, working a corporate job, putting in overtime, and on the weekends driving Uber. So essentially, I'm paying my own bills. I'm taking care of 5 bodies plus me. and doing a whole lot of stuff. And that's when I first started my business. I had a lot going on. So I ain't had no room for no nonsense. I didn't have room for a whole lot of stuff because I essentially was doing it all myself. So if there's a man that couldn't come in and help with that, then it's like, what do I need you for? Because I'm already doing it. And I wouldn't even, I would say, in some instances, I'd be like, you know what, I'll just take care of it because I already know that I got me. And that's how a lot of women think too, because they're doing a lot of things on their own. I got me. Nobody else has had me. I got me. Because I'm going to just say this. When you have been let down by men, and this is what a lot of women are experiencing, where you have put trust in them to accomplish things. You said big facts. Yeah. And when you have trusted them to do something and they drop the ball, you become disappointed. So you're not going to allow somebody to disappoint you over and over again. You're going to be like, you know what, don't worry about it, because I got me. At the end of the day, I can rely on myself. And so it makes no room for a man to feel needed at that point, because she's like, well, I can take care of it. But if you're dropping the ball, then ask yourself, how will you feel needed if every time she needs you, you're not there? She needs you for something, and she's telling you, I need you, and then you're not there. So that part, there are women that's experiencing that. So when she gets with a man that takes care of those needs, or is like, you know what, I'll take care of this, she doesn't know how to relinquish that, because the guys before him was dropping the ball. The other part is, there are some guys that drag their feet on what a woman will need. So if she's like, you know, can you go put gas in my car? It's Monday. I have to get to work. You know, I'm on half a tank. I know I'm not going to make it to Friday like this. So can you at least put gas in there by Wednesday? Because I know it's going to be like, you know, close to a fourth of a tank or whatever the case may be. And then you go past Wednesday without putting the gas in there. Now, she done already told you what she needed. She asked you to do it when she could do it herself. And then Wednesday is upon us. You didn't do it. Thursday, you didn't do it. Friday comes, she like, well, I gotta go do this myself. So then what was the point in me asking you to do it if you weren't going to do it? And that is a lot of women, they have that frustration. So some men that are doing these things, because I'm not gonna say all men do it, because they don't. Because I done experienced men who didn't do this. And I've experienced some who kind of was dragging their feet. And I'm like, I got me. I had the I got me attitude. So what I'm saying is, men, you all have to realize what you're saying and then what you want. And then if you want her to need you, you got to take some action. Because it's more, if you telling that woman, I love you, I want to spend my life with you, or I want to be with you, or whatever the case may be, your love got to be shown through your action. And your action must line up in the form of consistency. If she's telling you that she needs X, Y, and Z, then she needs you to be consistent, because then that's when she is more trusting that you will provide, trusting that you would take care of certain things. So sometimes it's not necessarily monetary, but it is that she just needs you to be there. Even if it's a listening ear for something that she might be going through or whatever. Are you there? That part. So if you want her to rest in her feminine energy, you have to give her the opportunity to be feminine. And being feminine is to say, you know what, I don't have to do everything. I'm gonna tell him to do it. Can you take out the trash? I cooked tonight. Can you take out the trash tonight? Ladies, y'all gotta put a deadline on it. Got to put a deadline on it. You got to give the brother a time frame. Because if you don't say the time, they people that you have to explain things a little bit thorough to. So if you want something done now, you got to say now. You can't just say go do it, because then they're gonna be like, well, I got time to do it. Tell them when you want it done. Do that. But yeah, me and you all have to have the follow through. That follow through is how you show. It's really how you show your love, and that's what she needs in order for her to be rested in her feminine energy. Because there are women. Thank you. There are women who want to be feminine. They don't want to be dominant. Like, okay, so let me just say this. From a girl that was a tomboy at one point, and I didn't care about, how my hair looked at one point, that this girl who used to not care about hair and none of that other stuff, she was not trying to be cute to impress nobody at one point in life. Not at all. But I was even dominant in a lot of areas because, one, I had lost my dad and I had been through some stuff. So for me, I was helping my mom with my siblings, and it was like, I got them, I got me, I got everything. It's been like this for a long time. So I had to do some work to undo certain things. And that, ladies, when you date, like I said before, everything is a lesson. So if it works, it's a lesson. If it don't work, it's a lesson. Take the lesson. Don't look at it like a failure or anything. But I have taken lessons from my previous relationships, and relationships back then when I was a little bit more on the I can do it all, I don't need you for nothing, nigga. Like, I would say that will flow out my mouth, because I'll be like, look, I got me at the end of the day. If I need to do a little Uber, sell a few more lashes, if I gotta do X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna go out here and do it, because I don't have time. My car gotta be fixed. I don't have time to wait. Like, all of these different things. And so the one relationship that really taught me something was the one that I was telling you all about earlier, where he was like, let me put the gas in your car, let me do this, let me do that. And it was a power struggle in the beginning. Like, the first couple months, honey, I was like, if I'm already out, then why you gotta do that? So it taught me to pull back, because one day he was like, you won't let a man be a man. And I was like, I'm trying, but I don't know how, because I've been doing everything for the longest time. Sometimes y'all got to work with that type of woman and let her know, like, she ain't got to do all that when she with you. But he followed through. I would say that brother followed through. It's followed through. It was never a time where I would say I needed something and he wouldn't deliver. So while we didn't work, essentially, he was going through some things, and he experienced some losses in his life, and it just essentially wound up breaking us. But we remained cool after that. But it taught me a lesson. That was the lesson, because I actually acted more in my feminine energy in that relationship than any other relationship prior to it. I allowed him to do more, and I actually learned, like, okay, so this was a thing. Previously, I would be like, I'm not cooking because I cooked for my mom, my brother, my sister, like everybody. I was always the one that was doing the cooking, because my dad taught me how to cook. My dad taught me how to do every freaking thing. So I didn't need anything from anybody because he taught me how to do it, right? So I always was like, I don't need nobody to do anything, right? But I didn't want to cook like for a man. I didn't think it was necessary. But when I was with this guy, I was like, you know what? He worked 2 jobs. I'm gonna make his life easier. I made sure I cooked for him. I made sure his clothes was clean. Made sure them bad boys was ironed. Made sure that apartment was clean. Made sure his life was easier, because the only thing he asked of me, 1, was to stay there. 2 was to just be me. Like, he didn't add, he was like, you don't have to pay for nothing. You don't have to do anything. I got you. And that was the first time that I experienced that I got you. Ever. Like, that I got you was strong. And so it made me start thinking of how I was dating, 1. But 2, it made me be like, you know what? I don't have to do all of this. When I'm in a relationship, I'm going to ask him to do stuff, because then he'll be thinking, okay, well, why am I here? If you don't need me, then what am I here for? So no, I need you. I need you. Y'all got to say this now. I need you. Can you do this? Start doing that. Start asking him. Now, don't be out here asking for no thousands of dollars now. Don't be out here like, can I get you know, $1,000? Don't be asking him to bring, you know, Gucci bags. I'm talking about real needs, y'all. Start small. Start small. Maybe you can be able to ask for bigger things once y'all get to the married part, or close to it, you know. Get a little time under your belt before you go asking for some big things. But also, you said, man, this is a great conversation. Thank you. But also, be his peace. It has to be on both, of course, though, because a man should be your peace, but you also got to be his peace too. You can't be coming in, you know, with all of the confusion, because what we don't realize as women is that a part of our feminine energy is to give that man peace, because a lot of the times they rest in us because they confide in us. When you have a man's heart, he confides in you. He's going to tell you things that he's not going to tell anybody else. He's going to come to you for advice. He's going to come to you as a confidant for a lot of different things, like before he makes big decisions. So you have to have yourself together, and you can't be like out here going crazy, you know, talking reckless and doing this. Because I know sometimes, I know it'd be hard, y'all. I know it'd be hard because they don't operate the way we operate, and we don't operate the way they operate, right? So I know it'd be hard, but you gotta watch how you talking to him, how you making him feel, especially when he's like telling you something about maybe some type of trauma that he's experienced, something, you know, that maybe he's honest that he was lacking on, or whatever the case may be. And then y'all get into an argument, and now you use it against him. After that, he's not gonna tell you nothing else. He gonna lock down. He ain't gonna tell you nothing else. It's over. So then you're gonna be like, well, why are you not talking about your feelings about X, Y, and Z? Is because what he told you in confidence, you used against him. So we got to be careful of that. That type of thing, which is a part of our natural feminine energy, though, when it comes to being who we are. We embody that at our root, before all of the trauma, drama, and all the things that we've been through, because a lot of women have been through a lot of things, and I don't think men really understand that. I think that they're looking at what a woman should be, but they're not understanding that before he came along, there was a lot of different things that woman experienced. So if she's operating in her feminine energy, then that means she's done work on herself, despite the stuff that she's been going through or went through, or whatever the case may be. She could have went through abuse. She could have went through neglect. She could have went through all types of different situations. And that woman that has done the work, you will never be able to tell. But the ones who, you know, are still working through their issues and all of these different things, man, if you love her, you have to have some patience. And women, you're gonna have to try to figure out how to work it out. You know, get a little counseling, do a little you work. Because essentially what you want is to have a healthy relationship. But you yourself, like I said previously, in a lot of my different conversations that I've had, you have to be healthy yourself in order to have a healthy relationship. And you have to know that whatever it is that you have been through does not determine your future. And you can't take what you've been through and throw that on somebody else because they didn't do it. So you also have to set boundaries, because I'm gonna say this: when I experienced, because there's a lot of different things that I haven't even talked about, and I did talk about in past conversations like abuse or whatever, but I didn't go into the details of it all, and I didn't go into all of the different parts and phases and stages that I went through to try to work through all of that. But the one thing I do say, you can't play with me like that. You cannot. We are not play fighting. You know, we are not because I could see black. And especially, I'm gonna just say this, since I'm having a candid conversation. So when I went through an abusive relationship, this was like 12, 13 years ago. 13, how old am I? About 13 years ago. And I actually dated him after that. But before we got into the relationship, after he apologized and all these things, I said, if you put your hands on me again, you gonna see God. You gonna see God. And I'm not playing with you, nigga. You gonna see God. Because we can't do this. We not doing this. You got me messed up. And, you know, he apologized, and I said, your apology is only because I left you. And before I left you, I clocked you. But had I not done what I done, you would have still been trying to put your hands on me. You would have still been in that abusive state. And so I was like, if you decide that you lose your mind in a moment, you gonna see God. And ever since then, he did not put his hands on me. But at the same time, I put a boundary up. We cannot play fight, because I will black out, and I'm not responsible for what I do when I black out. And so he looks like, she whole crazy. I'm like, yeah, you made me this way. Thanks. So this was one of the things that I dealt with that made me be like, I got me. This is one of the scenarios of, after that, no guy could say anything to me partially sideways, what I thought could have been sideways. I would like jump the gun to what? Like, he could be like, Miss, like, what? You know? So I would be whole clowning and did not care. Like, I had some serious issues because I did not care. But it took for me to want something different. I had to work through my issues. When I tell you it was hard, it was hard. You gonna make mistakes. It's gonna be difficult. But if the end game is for you to be in something healthy, then by all means do the work. If the end game is for you to have peace of mind, then by all means do the work. And if you want to know how to be feminine, not have to do it all, you gotta first do the work to make yourself feel secure. Like, you gotta feel secure within here before anybody else will make you feel like that. Because I know for me, it's like, I don't trust you. You just got here, I don't trust you. So in my mind, I would have to always have my defense up, that wall up. And I didn't want to continue to live like that. Like, I got tired of that. And especially when I got in that relationship, it just showed me a lot of stuff about me that I was just like, I don't want to be this way no more. I want to do something different, you know. And that's what I did. I just started. After that relationship, I was working on me. I was so working on me. Like, I was in a me phase. I had got closer to God at that point. Not me and God like this, you know. But I had done some work, doing affirmations, talked to some therapists, realized that I was really jacked up, but I needed that. I needed it. Like, I needed a reality check, because at the end of the day, you're left with you. At the end of the day, you have to deal with you. So if you can't deal with you, how you expect somebody else to deal with you? It's not gonna be good for you or them. You're gonna be torturing them because you're going through what you're going through on the inside. So you gotta work through that. But in order to get to a place where you are more feminine, you got to really work through that. Because you gotta know too that, one, every guy that talks to you is not trying to be disrespectful. So coming off with an attitude is not necessary. You can greet a guy with a smile, and if you're not interested and he's, you know, on some let me take you out kind of situation, you know, you can politely decline. You ain't got to be nasty with it. You know, it's a way to do stuff. And that's what I have learned. Like, it's a way to do things. Before, I had no filter on my mouth, on how I treated guys and different things like that. But your girl has done some work. She has learned. And then too, being a tomboy, being one of the guys, I ain't even have to put no effort in, because I ain't really care. Like, I was like, whatever. I ain't trying to impress y'all. Like, that was always my thing. I ain't here to impress you. But when you're dating and you're trying to be healthy and you're trying to, you know, be a better version of yourself, there are just a lot of things that you got to let go of. And there are some things that you have to assess. And another thing is, who are you dating? Who are you dating? When you are dating men that tell you that you are less than, that tell you that you need to do this and do that and have all of these prerequisites, and they not doing anything, then you might have to take a step back and assess who you are dating. Because who you're dating will determine whether or not you can be feminine, that you can be, you know, as girly as you want to, as sexy as you want to, as free as you want to, however you want to put it. You can't be dating these bums on this on the corner. And I'm gonna just put it like that, because it be some dudes that be whole raggedy, that be acting like you need to get them the time of day because they just worth it, and they are like not doing nothing in life at all and expect you to get them the time of day. Like, they have no goals, no job, no nothing, and then when you dismiss them, now they got an attitude. Housewife. How? No. No, we are not doing that. But you gotta realize who you're dating. Does his moral compass, his values, and all of those different things, do they align with you? You gotta really do some assessments, and I think that's where a lot of women are falling short, because a man telling you to bring something to the table, those men you would stay clear of. That's the other part. Women are getting flustered over this. You need to bring something to the table from whatever man. But in my mind, I'm not finna talk to a guy that's gonna tell me that I need to bring something to the table and we ain't got past one date. If you tell me that date, first date, ain't no second date. Cause I'm like, what? I don't even know if I like you enough for anything for us to even be having this conversation. That's just how, Lord, that's why I believe in coffee dates, y'all. I believe that coffee dates for a first date is the thing, because I might not even like you and you might not even like me, and we don't want no extra money or entanglements to be involved. So I could slide on out that thing and I feel like, dang, he spent a lot of money. Nah. Or if I need to pay for it myself, because, you know, I may not, I'll pay for some dates. Like, I've done it in the past. And these weren't coffee days. These was actual days where I was like, I don't even like him. Can I get the check? And I paid for it. This was not a date. Let me be clear. And I would say this is not a date. This was a meetup. I paid for it. It was nice meeting you. You have a good one. Child. So I'm good with coffee. Like, I'm good first thing we go on coffee, because I got to know whether or not we gel, like that part. But if you take me out of my character, and that's the other thing, a lot of the times, because like I said previously, like, people are rushing marriage and all of this other stuff, and you don't get to know the person. And when you are not put in situations to where, you know, you all have like your first disagreement, you're not gonna see what buttons they gonna push on you. You got to see that. You got to see that. Because if they take you out of character, just keep on walking. just keep on pushing, because we ain't got time for that. Because there are people that will take you out of character, and if you're trying to be a better version of yourself, you got to be more aware of the person that you are talking to, or allowing into your space and feeding off of your energy. Because the other thing is, when you're working on yourself, that person may not be working on themselves, so they can suck the energy and all the greatness you got going on out of you. And then you got to start your work all over again. So you got to pay attention to that. You said, I can see black. I know that's right. Oh, that was to the I didn't even see that comment. To the when I was talking about the whole dating situation. But you don't need nobody that's gonna take you out of character. And if being feminine, because men essentially do want a feminine woman, they don't want to be with a woman who acts just like them, then that means that if dating a man is what you desire and you want it to go further, then you got to embody the femininity that's inside of you. You got to set aside some of that toxic behavior, because I'ma just say, when I looked at some of the stuff that I was saying and doing, I was looking real raggedy because I was saying all types of whatever came to mind. You say something slick, I think you're gonna say something slick. So I'm just saying, do the work, do your work, get yourself together, you know, embody that feminine. Don't be scared to. Don't be scared to be as pretty as you want to. Don't be scared to doll yourself up. Even if you take yourself out on a date, take yourself out, child. Do what you want to do and look gorgeous doing it. I look like this when I go to the gas station, okay? Every time I step foot outside my house, I am like this. Because I like to feel and look gorgeous all the time. Sometimes I look like this when I go to sleep. No lie. No lie. I will go to sleep in my lashes, with my hair all that, because I just want to wake up feeling gorgeous, feeling, you know, just, you know, embodying my femininity. Just, I do that. Try it. And then, you know what? Somebody told me that I should create a class on this, and I was like, but I want to do some more lives on this. I'm not at the create a course on this yet, but I do want to do some more lives on this so we can have a real woman-to-woman conversation. This conversation is general because I wanted men to chime in, and all the men was on here and are on and all of this, and they didn't say nothing in the comments, but it's okay. I know that men are not as vocal, and especially, you know, there are a lot of men that feel intimidated because they don't know how a woman's gonna respond to whatever the comment is. But I am neutral for the most part on the comments. Now, if you come in here saying something really outrageous, might have to, you know, I'm gonna just say, you know, and I'm gonna let you feel whatever that is in your mind. But respectfully, if you are, you know, giving your input, we will talk about what you're saying, because this topic derived from actually a guy posing this question last week, and I was just like, okay, I've had these conversations with my male friends, I've had this conversation with guys that, you know, I dated, even those who are potential, you know, those potentials, had the same conversation. So I wanted to know what guys were thinking, but also I wanted women to also talk about how it makes them feel. And I didn't even get to that part because I wanted to, you know, go over those things before I got to that. But I did want to know how women felt about those comments, which is why I actually put the poll up and asked, and women was like, they okay with bringing something to the table. Some women said absolutely. I got an absolutely out of that. But how does it really make you feel when a man says that you need to bring something to the table? So let me know, y'all, in them comments. Let me know, are you okay with a man saying that? And especially if he is not looking to be your husband, what are we talking about? That's just how I look at it. We're not there. Like, this is not a committed relationship, so why are you concerned about bringing anything? For those that are in that, where, you know, y'all just, but a guy actually posed this question last week on the live. He actually asked, why aren't women bringing something to the table? And I was like, what? Because last week's conversation was about, you know, moms, and it was a twist on Mother's Day about, you know, for those who do not celebrate Mother's Day because of strained relationships with their mom. So I don't know where he came from with that comment, but I did want to address it in this live. But that conversation is actually on the YouTube channel, Crown Combos with Tiana and Nichelle. So you can actually go and replay that conversation. But that conversation got pretty good. So anyway, for whatever conversations that you want to have, child, y'all can email me, DM me, let me know, because we gonna talk about it. You know, I come with the empowerment, the life conversations, all of that kind of stuff. I come with it also. Whatever conversations that you all want to talk about. I've talked about dating, Black issues, marriage, things dealing with mental health, with kids, all types of different conversations. I have had it. Go to Crown Convos with Tiana and Nichelle. You'll be able to see those previous conversations. I'm going to actually start posting those on my YouTube channel. Instagram and Facebook. So you all can see snippets of those conversations. Because, child, we've been having these conversations for over a year now. And they were so good. Like, when I tell you the guests that came on and it was talking and giving their experiences, and we had business conversations too. So we do that. I'm going to have, because I'm also in the Down syndrome community. I work I'm on the board for an organization. I got an app, all these different things. So I'm going to have conversations about being a sibling of a person with disabilities and all of the things that come along with that. So I'm going to add those conversations to the ones that we've been having. Did you all have anything that you wanted to add before I go? Because we've been talking, child. We've been talking. Give you a minute. You said okay. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. Let me know what y'all want to talk about. And let me know, like, give me some feedback on these conversations. Like, what are your thoughts? I would like to know what you all think about it. Because these are things that I feel like, you know, we need to have community conversations. We want relationships. We got to get on the same page. You know, we want better for ourselves. We got to do the work. This is the season of being better versions of ourselves all the way around. So I am here for it. But with that, I thank you all for joining the conversation. For those who join me on YouTube, thank you. And thank you for those in Instagram land, Facebook land, wherever you are. I hope that you all have a good night. If I'm not back on here over the weekend, then I will see you next Thursday. Bye.